give BC a lot of credit. They lined up and beat us in all three phases of the game. They beat us up front, both ways, both offensive and defensive line. They controlled the line of scrimmage. We had opportunities in the first half, didn't match. They hit a nice trick play, moved the ball. We hit one. We get down there and fumble, which I thought was very critical in the game on a base hand, just a handoff that we did it same, typical, not different play, but didn't have that. That was very critical in the game. And then the other turnover, I thought in the first half when we hit a big play, got back to midfield, just missed a read, threw to the wrong guy, and should have hit the outside guy. And those two critical turnovers were very big. Second half, the short yardages really hurt. And then they ran the football, were able to establish a line of scrimmage, did a good job of pounding it up in there. Their backs did a great job of running the football. We had to do a better job and give up a couple third down stops. Even when we had them pinned back, we could have got field position back and still had a chance for points. They made the critical plays in the game that way. We had the two mistakes in the kicking game. We fielded a punt too deep and then got pinned on the two, which cost us the possession. Then the ball hit and then should have never fielded it and turned it over on a punt. And all of those three critical, we had three critical turnovers with the fumble, the interception, and the fumble on the punt, which was all led to points. Missing short yardages in every phase. They beat us. They lined up, kicked our tails, and outplayed us, outcoached us, did everything. And we got to do a better job. Questions?
Jimbo, what do you say to your team after a loss like this where just nothing went right?
We got to line. We got to quit worrying about what can happen and worrying about what they're going to say, okay, if you don't go to the bowl, you don't do this. We're so worried, in my opinion, about that we're forgetting about the process of how to change it and go win the game and go play well and worry about playing well. Can't worry about what can happen or what could happen or what might happen. You got to change, line up, and worry about what can happen that you can change and control and move forward.
Jimbo, after the way you guys lost last week, were you concerned about the mental state of it?
No, we had a solid week of practice. On Monday, they were a little down, but Tuesday and Wednesday, and we had the best Wednesday, which was like a Thursday, we'd probably had all year. We had good energy. We'd executed. Guys were in position, did things well. Boston College came in. We knew they were playing well. They were going to be excited. They were going to come play well. We knew it. Match your energy. They had a nice trick play. Well, we did too. And we're down there ready to score. We take a sack. On a 1st and 10, we're play action. Got to stay in it and throw it out. If it ain't there, throw it out of the back of the end zone. And we were on the 5, and then we just fumble a handoff, and we didn't match them. And then when that happened, it just kept going. And we still had an upper opportunity. We got back to midfield and moved it. They were doing a good job coming downhill, stacking the box, bringing guys downhill. We knew we had to throw the football a little bit, open up the run, and we had some opportunity. We didn't capitalize. But after the way the guys practiced and went about it, you always worry about it, but they responded well with a good practice. It was not a dead-headed practice, a week of practice. It was not like that.
It seems like when this team goes down, they're not finding a way to come back out and try to...
Not making the plays. They're fighting. Even on the goal line stand. They're down there to a 4th down. It's not that they're not fighting. They're not executing. And that's where we have to coach better and do better and get them to understand the plays, and you can't make those mistakes. The line's too thin. That you can, and you got to match that, and that's the part of it that we got to do better.
3 points. What can you do to fix the offensive issues? You weren't able to
not turn it over. We're down there ready for points in the second drive. Got a nice drive. We're on 1st and 5 on the 5. Run a hard play action. Good time to throw the football. Got it. You don't hit it. We throw it out of the back of the end zone. It's what we do, and then we have another opportunity. We had to cross midfield, and we got to get some field position. We got to win some field position, and defensively, we got to get some stops and win some field position and create some turnovers and create some situations that way. As a team, we got to do both things. We have to create that. And then when James made a couple critical mistakes in the game. He didn't want to, but he did early in the game that hurt us. And I got to coach him through those. And what we got to do, we got to get the running game. And we missed short yardages. And they were stacking the run. They were bringing things downhill, playing the run, trying to force us to throw the football, and we knew that. And it's got to do a better job designing, calling, everything. But you got to put them in position. But then when they're in position, they've got to execute. There's a twofold thing there. We have to execute. We had our opportunities early to match and get a good game and move the football. Because the first half, we had 175 yards of offense. Second half, we didn't. We missed short yardages, missed everything. Turned the punt over. We moved the football. We got pinned back once on the 2 off a bad decision on special teams. But,
from that point, we got to, and we get down there, we got to put points on the board.
On that note,
when you hit the trick play and get down there, it's still early. Are you thinking that you guys have matched and answered? And
Well, no, I mean, you got to put it in the end zone.
Sure.
And then we hit a big, makes a great throw on 3rd and 4, hit the check down, get a ball 1st and 5, feel really good. I mean, we're moving the ball, feel good, we're good. Then even if it was 14-0, we still hit the play coming out to midfield, get a nice run, and then we have a go route, just throw it a hair long, have Nooney on top. They actually got on top, and then the next route we forced it. I mean, should have hit the slant outside, just should have hit the outside guys. That's simple. We had a slant open, and we missed the read. I mean, and what we did.
Where do you think the disconnect lies between the players not really grasping the coach's messages and not?
It's not grasping. They hear it, they respond, they listen, they regurgitate, they say, but they just cannot worry. We cannot worry about what can happen and what's going. You have to worry about what you can do to change things and move forward and play well. That's what you got to do. It's not they're not hearing messages. They can regurgitate everything you say, and they're in the meetings, they're in the things. It's just that they feel pressure to play well, and they got to play well, but they can't look at the glass half empty. Instead, they got to look at it half full and what they can do to change it. You know what I'm saying? And we got to do a better job of just keep explaining that to them and putting them in that position.
You preached the little things and inches, but when the score's 35-3, how do you rectify that with the team?
Right there, go back and look at your hand. You're 7-7, and you drop a handoff. We lose a game last week. We drop a hand. Well, it wasn't a read. We're handing the ball off. That's 2 handoffs. Things that we did probably 100 times this week in practice alone. You know what I'm saying? And you rectify exactly and show them exactly where they went wrong. And if you didn't fit on defense, if you didn't fit the play right, if you didn't do that right, where did that happen at? That we fumbled a punt or kicked a punt that we shouldn't have fielded right there, and lost it. And then missed a short yard. We went for it on 4th down and give them 7 points. You show them exactly why they went wrong, but if you make those plays, those things don't go wrong. And that's the way you have to look at it.
Those 2 plays by Tavares obviously were crucial. Is he just pressing to try to make sense?
I think he is. He lost track of where he was on the punt. It was a line drive. Should have let it go. You got a lot of guys that are pressing because they're, again, worrying about everything, what everybody's saying. Well, if you don't go to bowl, you don't do this. You can't worry about that. You got to do what I can do to control what can happen good and play that way. And you just got to play yourself through it and believe in it and that and not worry about the tragedy. Worry about how I can come out of it.
Jimbo, I'm sure you guys are going to fly home tonight. Are you going to give the team some rest the next couple of days or try to? No,
we have our normal. We have our stretch and stride. The guys will get treatment and everything tomorrow and healed up and get that. And then we'll have our normal stretch and strides on Sunday and our normal routine.
How's Gladney feeling?
Okay. I mean, as far as physically, yeah, he's fine. Just took a shot right there, fell on his shoulder, and on that blitz right before half, which we had a shot, and they got pressure on it.
There's such a disparity in average starting field position. You got a young offense, and you're on the road. How much of a difference can that make?
Big difference. I mean, but when you hit those plays, that's why you got to capitalize the opportunities when you get down there. And even if you can move it back, get 3 or 4 first downs and punt it, then you got to hold them. You got to press them when they're backed up. You can't let them have 2 or 3 first downs and change it back. And 2 or 3 times they made the critical plays like that, and our defense gave up some critical 3rd downs when we had them backed up that we could have changed the field position and come back and had an opportunity, and we didn't let it. We didn't do it.
With their running game, getting behind, how damaging is that?
It is because they can eat clock as they go, and then and where they're at. But again, that's why when you get limited possessions when you play those kind of teams, and you got to capitalize when you get down there.
You've never been at this point as a head coach. Where do you go from here?
Right back to practice. Right back to practice, show them what they did wrong, how we're going to do it, how if they do it right, how they can be successful, and preach the same messages in what you do and get them to understand it and coach them better. I mean, there's nowhere to go. I ain't going anywhere. They ain't going anywhere. We got some games to play, and we're going to go practice and practice hard, practice better, try to go play better.
Jimbo, do you try to find a different way to present the information?
You do all the time. We do that all the time. There's different ways to present it all the time, get different guys, different ways. And it's not information. But at the end of the day, they got information. They know how to do it and what to do. They can regurgitate it. It's going out and execute it at the key moments and the key points. Keep your poise and do it. Execution. They can regurgitate what they do and how to do it. And they do it in practice. They just got to do it in the game.
So you're still not seeing any signs of guys packing it in?
No. The guys have played hard. Whether they make a mistake or go the wrong way or do the wrong thing, it has nothing to do with effort. I mean, you saw our defense, even on the goal line. Like they had 3rd and inches. They laid it out there for 4 plays and barely got in. You know what I'm saying? Our guys kept playing hard. I mean, there's no pack it in. I mean, they feel bad. They're sad. They're worried. All those good things. But that's where, as like a parent, when your kids do that, you got to show them, and they got to believe, and you got to come out of it.
Are you seeing that enough of that fight from more of your players? It seems like a handful of those players are kind of showing that fight, and when things are going well.
No, I think a lot of them are. I don't think anybody's laying down. But I think you got inexperienced guys that have been put in some positions that you wish they could grow into now because of injuries and things that have happened. But that's not an excuse. That's the team you got. So guys that are banged up and they get in those positions, they got to handle it, and you got to keep coaching them out of it. I mean, no, as far as that goes, I mean, when you're young and that happens to you, you're like, oh wow, wow. I mean, this is really happening. But you got to push through it, and that's part of growing. When you got a lot of young guys in key positions.
Jimbo, last week.
More on offense, probably in that regard.
Jimbo, last week, James had the fumble at the end of the game. This week, he goes for 102 yards, has a big interception, has the fumble on the handoff. Just how do you mentally coach him up to where this doesn't affect him, that he doesn't tone it out?
No, he won't tone it out because he's on the sideline regurgitating back, and you show him what he did wrong, press him in practice, make him do it, make him have the life, which he does. He never backed up, even on the sideline. I mean, in that game, he knew exactly when he did it, why he did it. We explained it. I got you, and show him what we said. Got to down from the coverage they were in, talked it through, talked on the sideline. He understood it. I mean, but confidence is tough. You got to go out there and play, and you got to have good things happen to you. And that's why I say with young guys, it's so fragile. They can do really well, make a couple mistakes, but he didn't back up from that. And you coach him and show him on film and keep going. No doubt. I think that's part of it. I think they're still like, wow, is that really happening? And worried about that instead of doing what they can do to change it. That's what I said. I mean, could this really happen? Yeah, it can. That's what I say. It can happen to anybody at any time. And like I said, that's part of worrying about what's happening instead of, all right, what do I got to do to change it?